guys, welcome back to Strong Successful Male. So for today, I'm going to go over an email that was sent from a subscriber. That's from a guy. He is 40 years old, definitely does very well for himself, and he is relationship free. Very happy being single. And he shares his story about how he met this gal back in high school, who eventually in college becomes his girlfriend for a short period of time. And it doesn't take very long before her crazy, possessive true colors to finally come out. And upon that, he ended it with her. Or so he thought. And then you're going to see, guys, how she kept popping up in his life, causing problems, stalking him. And that'd be a very good one to go over here, guys, just to show you how I point out that the gals cannot take rejection. Okay, nobody likes rejection, let's be perfectly honest here, but I'm sure many of you guys have learned through the stories I've shared, or maybe your own personal experiences, women really, really don't take it well, to a whole new level. And usually the way they handle rejection is to become even more obsessed with a guy in terms of like wanting him more, doing anything to get him back in his good graces, or they go freaking nuts and do everything they can to make his life a living hell. Various levels of sabotage, things like that. So you got to be very, very careful. And of course, they always come back. Always. And in this guy's story here, you're going to see a whole lot of this. So you definitely got to be careful. And I might add, you're going to see why this guy has remained happily single, relationship free, because he knows, based on his personal experience, as well as just, how things are nowadays. So that'd be a pretty good one for you guys out there that, like him, have chosen to be single and have no interest, even though people probably like your family give you a hard time. He says, "What's up, SSM? I've been a subscriber to your channel since 2022. Just this weekend, I was watching one of your videos about the guy who was being chased down by the same woman who rejected him back in high school, which triggered some pretty awful memories for me. Well, I don't think there are many people that don't have awful memories coming from high school. For the sake of anonymity, you can call me Michael. I'm 40 years old, and the woman of my nightmares will go by the name Emily, or whatever the stereotypical crazy gal's name is. Well, the crazy gal name I always use is Jessica, because every Jessica I've ever met in my entire life since the first grade has been nuts. And yes, there was a Jessica in the first grade who was nuts. They're crazy back then. This story covers events dating back to my late teens, going right up to my early 30s. When I was 17 years old, Emily and I met in high school. She had recently moved to our city from Denmark, and she wasn't familiar with the area, so I offered to show her around. Yeah, I'm sure you're doing that because you're such a kind soul, welcoming the newcomers into the country. You did it because she obviously was hot and you wanted to nail the foreign exchange student or the foreigner or something like that. Yeah, been there, done that, dude. You're not fooling anybody here. Out of the sheer goodness of my heart, of course. Yeah, She was tall and slender with hazel eyes, and she had that goth chick vibe. Yeah, she was a looker. I didn't pursue her though. I wasn't digging her goth vibe. Yeah, well, some of those goth/dark chicks like that, they tend to be they are nuts, but they're also wild in bed, but be careful. From that point on, we sort of had a friendly but flirty dynamic. It didn't help that our class shipped us, and my friends teased me to no end about it. Fast forward to graduation day, and Emily tells me I had a dream about you and we were getting married. Oh, really? Goodbye. A nice goth wedding? Naturally, I was a little taken back about this, so I said, well, I hope it was a good dream. She blushed and smiled. Now, if I were a blue pill Mr. Nice Guy, I'd have thought it was a sign from the stars. When I was in college, we kind of lost contact, but she always made an effort to reach out to me. Well, because obviously she really likes you. She's liked you since you started giving her the tour of the school out of the kindness of your heart. At this point, I thought, all right, fine, let me see what she's about. So we started dating. A month passes by, and she starts being very possessive. Always wanted to know who I was talking to and where I was going. She flew off the handle one time when she saw a message from my sister. She had known my sister while looking at my phone. I broke up with her a couple days later. She did not take that well, and she'd been trying desperately to get back with me ever since. So, here's the deal. Like I said, when you guys get in relationships, I'm all for setting boundaries. Of course, that way there's no confusion about what's acceptable, what's not acceptable, and everybody can have their different boundaries and all that. But you can tell when it comes to being possessive, that's a different category. And when chicks start behaving that manner and they want to know where you are at all times, who you're talking to, this, and this, that is a very, very bad idea. You need to run for the hills. But of course, this is why I say you spend several months, probably about 6 months, getting to know them before you ever consider getting committed to an exclusive relationship, just the two of you. Because usually in that 6 months, the craziness will come out. Now, some are masters of hiding it, but at least 6 months. And of course, years before you even consider marrying them, if that's what you do. So 3 years go by, and I'm now working in finance. Awesome, dude. I met another woman, let's call her Lisa. She was a cute ginger with an amazing smile. And she worked at a local Starbucks that I was a regular at. We would talk whenever I swung by, until one day I asked her out, and things picked up from there. So I want to take a moment and point something out. You know how I talk about all the time that you could have a guy that does well for himself, he's successful, makes good money, he's in a good place in his life, women like him. He'd be perfectly happy with a pretty young gal who takes care of herself, feminine, and her only job prospects is, it seems to be, is just working at the local Starbucks or any other place that's obviously not bringing a giant income. If he's attracted to her and she's feminine and she's likable and all that, fine, no problem. Doesn't make a difference to him if she has multiple college degrees, advanced degrees, makes 6 figures and that stuff. That's not going to turn a guy on. Is she pleasant to be around? Is she pretty? Is she feminine? But a woman, you think a woman that would be working in finance and where you would think white collar job, making good money, would go for a dude working in Starbucks unless maybe like he's just her hookup partner? No. There's a little different. I had to point that out. So we were in a relationship for about 3 years when suddenly Lisa started acting very cold towards me. I would ask her why, but she wouldn't say. No, that's not acceptable. We're going to communicate like adults. Or shall I say, you are going to communicate like an adult and communicate in a healthy manner. We've been going well all these years. Now you're acting cold to me? No, don't give me this. I don't want to talk crap. Something's obviously up. This went on for 2 weeks. You put up with that shit for 2 weeks? Smack. She walked out on her ass. Until one day, I went to her place and caught her making out with another dude. That's not even the worst of it, SSM. What? Well, what's worse? What, you walked in the door and before she was making out with him, she had his you-know-what in her mouth? This wrench walks up to me with a smirk on her face and delivers a gut punch with the following words. I'm sorry you had to find out this way, but I'm seeing someone else now. After all, you were going to do the same to me. I was floored, heartbroken. I tried my best to keep it together, though. What do you mean she's saying, after all, you were going to do the same to me? That doesn't make any sense. Well, let's see what happens. So I asked what the hell she meant by that. But she gave me the emptiest apology. I reached out to her best friend later that day to find out more information. Her best friend cussed me out before telling me that my ex, Lisa, told her that I would leave her. I was confused, and then it dawned on me, good old Emily. Emily had fed Lisa some utter BS to tank my relationship. Good God, I was pissed. So the crazy goth chick, who you weren't together with that long, is stalking you. And obviously stalking you. And 3 years later, she knows where you are, knows who you're involved with, and went to sabotage it. That's psycho. But here's the deal. I'm sorry that happened to you with the Starbucks girl, but that tells me a lot about the Starbucks girl's character when she actually believed your ex. Because obviously, I'm sure you mentioned your ex, because girls want to know about their potential competition. I'm sure you mentioned your ex, and she was possessive, and she was nuts, you know. And this girl, Starbucks girl, believed her, and then immediately started talking to you about it, and all that. She just immediately cheats on you to get revenge on you for something that you haven't done yet. Yeah, in a way, Crazy Emily did you a favor against Crazy Lisa, because Crazy Lisa, Starbucks girl, is an asshole. Yeah, I'm sure it hurt, and you wasted 3 years of life with her, but still, you dodged a big one with Crazy Starbucks girl. So I messaged Emily on social media, and I asked her what the fuck was wrong with her. She tried to play dumb, but after I called her out, she said, we should meet up and she'll explain everything. You just gave her what she wanted. You reached out to her. Now she can try to get you to see her again. I sent her a paragraph littered with profanities before I blocked her. 4 years later, no joke guys, 4 years later, I was in my early 30s and been doing much better. I was at my cousin's wedding and went outside to get some air. Minutes later, I hear a voice that sent a chill down my spine. Hi, Michael. I turned my head, and yep, you guessed it. It was Emily, standing right there before me in a flowing black dress. Clearly she wasn't invited to your cousin's wedding. She's been stalking you. Put on her black dress. Of course, the goth chick's wearing the black dress to the wedding. And there you go. Another opportunity to see you. Emily was standing there before me in a flowing black dress. SSM, who the fuck wears black dresses to weddings? Now I'm brainstorming here if I can imagine any women wearing black dresses to weddings. I don't think I recall that. Now, obviously, if it's a goth wedding, that's different, or something like that. I must have been staring at Emily for a solid minute. She probably saw the anger in my eyes as she started stammering an apology. She's not sorry. I cut her off and threatened her legal action if I ever saw her from her again. Then I walked back inside. Thankfully, she hasn't contacted me since that day. She may not have contacted you, but she's probably watching you. Fast forward to the present. I'm happy to say I'm doing pretty good. I'm now semi-retired, and I have plenty of time to enjoy my hobbies and spend time with my bros and my family. It sounds like you're more than semi-retired to me. Well, bro, if you've done that well for yourself, that's awesome. I'm really proud of you. My bros and my family who have helped me get through my darkest moments. I haven't bothered much with dating after what I went through. I value my peace like it's my religion. Yes, I too value peace and quiet like it's my religion. That's why I chose the place where I live. Very nice neighborhood, very quiet, a lot of space, all things considered. Yeah, and I don't blame you for no longer interested in relationships and all that, because what you've been through and clearly what you see is going on today. SSM, thank you for giving myself and other men a platform to vent and share our stories. This has been somewhat therapeutic for me. Cheers to you, and I hope the Floridian heat doesn't burn you to a crisp. Michael. Well, I left the house this morning at, 9:10, and it was already 89 degrees here. That's the temperature, but the real feel is probably close to 100 already. And for the last couple of weeks, it's been real feel over 100. But I'll be honest with you, boys, I'm actually getting used to this shit by now. It certainly helps that I have a pool. I specifically chose a house with a pool, and I was willing to pay for it so I could jump in whatever the hell I want. So, yeah, that's nice. But, being out, and I'm actually getting used to this shit. So, but anyhow, Florida's great. Love it down here, and it's fucking hot, but I'm dealing. So, bro, great story. And, again, proving about chicks and rejection, how they either become obsessed with you in a way that is beneficial to you, if you will, or they can't take it at all and they try to make your life a living hell. And this is what this one is. So there you go, guys. Be careful, and this stuff never ceases to amaze me. And of course, they always come back, one form or another. And for all you know, she could still be watching you, and she could show up one of these days. You never know. You could be fucking going to Universal Studios here in Florida, and there she is over there by the freaking, the Harry Potter land, or Harry Potter world, what the hell they call that down here in Florida. So she'll be in a black cloak like a little Slytherin bitch, something like that. So just be careful. All right, guys, that is it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let me know what you think about this. Let's hear, guys, in the comment section. Have you had situations with gals you've rejected that over the years they tend to pop up in your life? Randomly pop up, randomly reach out, or even try to sabotage things? I'd like to hear about that. Let's share some of these horror stories in the comment section. And be sure to like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe. I'll catch you next time.